Well guys, I bought a DRZ, so let's talk about it. I bought a DRZ and I'm as surprised as you are. Let me explain before you get the pointy sticks and the fires burning. So there are a lot of factors that led up to me getting this bike. The main one is the craziness of 2020 and coming into 2021. The off-road new and used markets are just saturated with people panic buying, as well as the disrupted supply chains. So it's very hard to get your hands on a new off-road vehicle, and used off-road vehicles are just going for crazy prices because it's a seller's market. And I really didn't want to pay way overpriced for a second-hand bike, so I ended up getting the last DRZ in many of the dealerships here. So shout out to Western Edge Motorcycles and Gavin for helping me get my hands on the last DRZ in the shop, and particularly because it's got the Cape York pack. So that's one of the big reasons I got this bike, is basically it comes with a whole pile of accessories that are very hard to get your hands on at the moment, which means I can get off into the dirt quicker. The second reason I got this bike is because I am still intending to get the Honda CRF400L. On paper, that appears to be my ideal bike, even better suited than the DRZ here. But I do have to wait for that bike. Dealerships are saying it might be July. Honda Marketing Australia are saying March, so I'm getting mixed messages. Even if it does arrive here in March, I don't want to put a deposit down without having ridden and understanding the bike. I've been doing this long enough that I know that a spec sheet doesn't always translate to on-road performance or off-road performance. I really want to see if the Honda is the sum of its parts. I'm sure it will be, but I want to negotiate from a place of strength. But I also want to do some comparison videos, and what better way to compare the two bikes than owning and understanding both motorcycles. So I think I'll be able to make some really good content there. The other factor is, even if they do arrive in March, I do like one and I do order one, I might have to wait for a second shipment because I assume they will be very popular and people will probably snap them up quickly. This bike kind of is my hedge or my gambit. It's my safe bet. I will still have a bike to go off-road, to create content, but more importantly, I really miss off-road riding and I didn't want to have to wait any longer. So having a bike that I can ride for the next 6 months maybe and ride off-road, do the camping trips, do all that stuff was really important to me. And I am curious, I love trying new things, so I really wanted to see what this DRZ ownership is all about, particularly because they are so popular. I've ridden one before, way back in 2014, but I do always kind of wonder about different bikes, what it would be like to modify and try and make it my own and see how it really goes off-road. And let's be real, the DRZ has a lot of great factors. Sure, it's old and outdated, but it's still a proven and capable design for what I need, which is dual sport riding with some soft enduro mixed in, which I think this bike is pretty much perfect, except for that crappy gearbox. Here's some footage of how horrible it is. Boy, has my life gone so wrong. And we're out of fuel. Another major factor is the accessory market. Because this has been out so long, there is absolutely everything for this bike. I can turn it into whatever I want, and all the problems have been discovered before, so there's fixes for everything. I've already sorted out the side stand kill switch, which is fantastic. I just hopped on the internet a couple of minutes and there were plenty of how-to threads. So this is going to be a very easy bike to work on. So why not the other bikes? Well, I've spoken about that in detail in many other videos, but the CRF450L, that's been discontinued, so it's no longer an option. The CRF300L is not here yet. I will probably get one, but until then, I need a bike to go off-road, and this was the bike I chose. The WR250R, I've been there and I've done that. It's a fantastic bike, but I wanted to try something new, and those bikes are also being discontinued, just like the 450L, so that's off the list. The KLX 250 with a big bore kit, there's none available brand new. They don't know when they're getting more in from Japan, so I have no idea how long to wait on those bikes. Second-hand ones are just crazy expensive if you can find them. Why not a bigger bike like a DR650? too heavy for me. I do a lot of single track. I do not want to pick up even the 165-ish kilos. The 250L, there were a few available, but that bike does not make quite enough power for my needs. With the 300 coming, it didn't make much sense as it would be a little more difficult to sell. I think the DRZ is always in demand, so that's in the back of my mind. This will be a fairly easy bike to move on if I choose to keep the 300 over the DRZ once I have them both. Enduro's a little bit too harsh for me at the moment. It's not comfortable enough and I don't really have the fitness to be able to ride them without severe fatigue. So that's why I stuck with a dual sport. Some of you might also point out, why didn't I get an SWM? The availability of the SWMs in WA is non-existent. There are 2 places here in WA that sell them. They're at least an hour's drive for me. They're very small dealerships and neither dealership is a primary SWM dealership. I don't know if they'll be around in a year's time. They're really dinky and they have no reviews from people that have used their services, so I'm not confident in them sticking around. So that's a major factor. The other thing is the DRZ's been around so long that I really don't have to worry about being able to find parts or being able to fix it myself. Like I said, I'm not really mechanically minded, so this is the safer bet in my mind. So when's a review coming from this bike? Well, I'm gonna wait until I've had some off-road riding under my belt and done some decent kilometers. Until then, it's no point me giving you a review on how I found it when I've only been able to do about 100 kilometers on the road. That has no value to anyone, so you will have to wait a bit for that. So initially I wasn't too excited with this bike as it is a little harsher than I was hoping for, but I have got used to it over the couple of weeks and every time I ride it I'm enjoying it more and more. Although the exhaust on it is stupidly loud, I really do have to fix that. That's the first thing I'm going to sort out, as the de-restricted version of this exhaust in Australia, it's just my ears are bleeding. I have sensitive ears, I will admit that, and I do look after my hearing and wear earplugs, but even with earplugs, this thing is obnoxiously loud. I would say it's even worse than my Harley with Vance and Hines on it. It's that loud at the moment, so hopefully I can sort that out soon. But other than that, I'm really enjoying it. I hope to make more content. It shouldn't be too long until I'm out there enjoying the trails with my mates. It's basically up to the WA government at the moment whether I get out onto the trails sooner rather than later. But until then guys, don't forget to stay shiny side up and I'll see you in the next video. Catch you later.